somebody like President Biden, it feels like his base is pretty pissed off at him for a number of reasons.
Help him out.
I'm nervous about saying anything against Biden because I feel, not that I have so much power, and you have some more than I do, obviously, but...
Oh, I don't know about that.
Are you afraid that you might, influence people who are on the fence?
I think you lose all credibility. I do. I mean, my bond with my audience has always been I don't pull a punch.
Yeah.
My bond with my audience is you're not going to like everything I say, but you know I'm saying what I really think is true.
Right.
That's... Yeah. Okay. And look, Biden just presents as old. It's not really fair.
No.
Because he's almost the same age. Trump is almost the same age as him.
I know.
But Trump doesn't present that way. You look at somebody right away, you can kind of just sum them up. I mean, we are not young, but we don't present as old.
Yeah.
Biden does. I saw him yesterday making that speech.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry, he's cadaver.
Now, you have a massive platform reaching millions of listeners, and you and I have talked about this before. You endorsed Joe Biden back in 2020, but this time around, you say you're not going to endorse anybody. Charlemagne, now is not the time, in my opinion, to sit this one out.
Yeah. I didn't say that. I never said I was sitting it out.
What you gonna do?
I'm definitely voting in November, but what I like to focus on is issues, not individuals. Like, when
but
you
why not endorse?
Huh?
Why not endorse Biden?
Because if I'm sitting here telling my listeners that, you have somebody out there who is a threat to democracy, you have somebody out there who said they want to, suspend the Constitution to overthrow the results of an election. You saw this person, try to lead an attempted coup of this country, and I'm telling people that this guy is a threat to democracy. Have you ever read Project 25? There's only 2 candidates out there. So if I'm saying that about this individual, the choice is clear, right? And I've seen y'all do this on The View before. I saw y'all do this to Killer Mike when he was on The View.
You campaigned for your home state Democratic Senators Raphael Warnock and John Ossoff.
Yep.
Yeah, and you got some attention recently for being somewhat critical of President Biden, saying you weren't ready to endorse him yet. What's your holdup there?
What's my holdup? Well, first of all, I think everyone should focus on hyper-local. We get caught up in the soap opera of federal elections, and that's fine. But if you are concerned with the federal election, you don't know who your city council or your wardsman is, you don't know who your mayor is, and you don't have a good list of state representatives or governor, then you're just a part of whoever wins the Super Bowl or fanfare.
Right.
So my most important election is going to be in about a year and a half for who's my mayor going to be. I think that Andre Dickens is doing a great job around housing in Atlanta, and I don't want that to be lost. Even though we have a Republican governor, Brian Kemp, I have a good relationship with him. I like what he's done in terms of Georgia business. We've been leading business amongst all states for the last 10 years, and he brought back the Hope Scholarship and expanded it. So if you're a kid in Georgia, you're poor, you got a B average, you can go to college for free or trade school. So in my community, girls are going to college, but boys don't have where to go, and they're not choosing to. In my community, I have a push for trades. That's why I support organizations like Georgia Youth Build. I support organizations like Next Level Boys Academy, because they usher out boys. I need my daughters to be able to marry somebody.
Right.
So, and even in that case, I have said, okay, this governor's doing a good job. In terms of nationally, I'm just kind of doing what my grandfather said, staying out of white folks' business and watching what happens. I'm going to see what happens if there's a candidate that
Look at the lady's face right next to him. I don't know her name, and I'm not going to put it to memory. I
have said, okay, this governor's doing a good job. In terms of nationally, I'm just kind of doing what my grandfather said, staying out of white folks' business and watching what happens. I'm going to see what...
Look at her face right there. She's not smiling. The black woman's not smiling because they know that he is not going to support Joe Biden. And their whole goal is to get all the black people, because they know black vote. They need 90, 95% to vote, and they know if it's even 2% off of 90, that is all trouble for the Democrats right there. Look at her face. She's not even smiling, but the other people, you're so funny. But the black woman there is like, no.
What happens if there's a candidate that pops up around September, October that needs a push that's really, and policy-wise is good for us, going to jump up. But for right now, I just don't want to be involved in the soap opera because I'm much too concerned about what's going on in Atlanta on a hyper-local level.
That's so important.
You lost me a little bit with your support of Kemp, but let me tell you this.
Not supportive
some of his policies.
That's some misinformation. You cannot like me, but...
So here's the thing. You can't even, this is the bullying that we talk about. They said this is a democracy. You should be able to think what you want to think, but that's not true. He feels and think the way he is. He lives in Atlanta. He's realizing that Kemp is good for the state. And since he's a Republican, this is how liberals, African American liberals, are programmed to hate anything that is not a liberal. Love your oppressor, which I call liberals. Historically, liberals were the one that started the KKK, Planned Parenthood, which was eugenics before, segregation in the South that lasted over 100 years. And they just want you to be programmed to just continue no matter what they do to you, no matter, back in slave days where they were for slavery down south. And long as we give you a little bit, we're doing something for you. We're giving you food. We're giving you housing. Oh man, look at what the strides we're doing, because if we put you out here for free, they're going to hurt you. But what I like about what Frederick Douglass says, he says, let us have the same rights as you, and let us fall if we fall like the apple off the tree, but just give us that opportunity. And that's why I do like being a conservative, if you will, because it's on you. You do it. And if you have success, you get all the spoils, you get all the rewards. If you don't, that's fine as well, right? And the market always fixes itself. Always. And they're not trying to let that happen. The Democrats and Republicans, the rich and the poor, not so much the poor, but the rich is doing as well.
Don't lie on me. I saw someone I really respect, a black woman who's a commentator.
So you don't support him,
and
you
she
like
said,
his policies.
Well, I support
Some specific ones he named.
Beyond that, he's the governor of my state, so I have to be involved with him because I can't divorce myself. But let me say this. If you criticize someone, don't lie. Don't say I didn't support Abrams, because I did. Don't say that I don't support Democrats, because I've helped get 3 Democrats.
First off, you should not have to explain yourself. This is your vote. This is how you feel, because you're an individual, right? And everybody down south knows that you did support those women down there. You supported Bernie Sanders. However, you do have some conservative values. You're about business. You have a few black businesses, him and T.I. They have buildings and they have all type. They're in the capitalist society. They want tax breaks for themselves. No question. So this is crazy. See, this channel, this station, this show is here for the propaganda. They want to get the women that watch this show, because they know women usually run their household. A man may not, they'll sit stuff out, but a woman will vote. So if you have a man and a woman in the house, and the man say, I'm not voting, but the woman does, he basically says they're a Democrat, right? Or wherever way they vote. And that's the problem that we're having. And they have to push this narrative. And, naturally a lot of black men are raised with their mother, so you can't disrespect your mom, because women, especially single parents, they create the man or the boy in their image and not God's image. And that's what's happening. So when he's getting criticized right now, he's getting nervous, like, oh, I'm speaking to my mom, I'm speaking to a sister, so I can't be direct the way I feel. So he has to feel like he got in trouble, and he got to sit there and plead his case. I am black. See, that's the problem. That's what's going on with Stephen A. Smith. That's what's going on with Charlemagne. You cannot think the way you want to think, and this is a problematic.
Democratic mayors elected. I've helped get 2 state representatives elected. But if someone is in the king's seat, I'm not going to not have dinner with the king on behalf of my people. I have to do that.
Let me just point some of Biden's achievements out for the black community, right? The lowest black unemployment rate on record, lowest gap between black and white unemployment on record.
We gotta give him a clap for
Black
that.
wealth is up by 60% relative to pre-pandemic, the largest increase on record. Has helped 8 million renters and their families stay in their home, over 40% of whom were black, and the largest effects in majority black neighborhoods like yours. Delivered investment of over $7 billion to support HBCUs. Put $1 billion into Head Start. Whoopi's gonna like that. A program.
See, this is the problem that they do. They tell half truths. First off, you said you created jobs. No, you told people to stop working because of the pandemic. You shut everybody down, and then you opened it back up. That's what you did. You didn't see the half truths that is ridiculous that they're doing. Also, the renters. You're saying you kept people in the homes, but you're not talking about the spike in renting in rents that people have to pay because during the pandemic you basically said you can't evict anybody. So guess what is going to happen? The people who's renting these homes out, they just raise the prices. So you're not thinking about all that. You're not saying all this. Like we still in the bind financially because you did not fix that problem.
Killer Mike literally sat here and said, hey, I supported Keisha Lance Bottoms. I supported Ralph Warnock. I supported John Ossoff, right, in Georgia. And he said, you should support
If you haven't already, hit that like, hit that subscribe, also hit that notification bell. This is why The View is failing as we speak. These liberal women, anytime someone come up there and try to tell the truth, they're scared to tell the truth on this show. They got to tiptoe the line, but we all know that Joe Biden is not being effective as a president. You have to be the worst president in the world for half the country to hate another person, another candidate, which is Donald Trump. You have a 4-year head start, and your base is turning on you.
the people that I've supported. You should support the person who the people I've supported are supporting.
Okay.
That's y'all opportunity to say, well, clearly he's talking about President Biden. Why do y'all need us to say this if we don't feel comfortable saying it?
No, it's not that we need you to say it, but
Others
I
do.
think other folks need to hear because, one of the things I'm sorry, I just jumped you, I'm sorry, but one of the things that we've been talking about is the fact that getting facts out through the media seems to be very difficult.
I feel like I just spewed some facts.
Yeah.
Yes,
But
but
an
we
endorsement
need you to
from
do
you
it on
would
your
matter.
show.
Well, the reality is I think both candidates are trash. So because
Talk that talk. That's facts. Well, I wouldn't say both candidates, but I'll say one candidate is really trash, which is Joe Biden.
So if I think both candidates are trash and I don't feel like, endorsing one, would you rather me endorse an individual or endorse the fact that, hey, we need to go out here and protect democracy?
And by the way, I think it's incredibly powerful to use your platform just to draw the contrast. I actually tend to agree that I don't think an endorsement is somehow more powerful than reminding folks the other person.
See, if I was Whoopi Goldberg, which they have something in their ear, I would have challenged that comment. Why do you think they're trash? And let them tell the truth. Well, but the thing is, he couldn't tell the truth because that's what they want. You got to tell the truth. If they told the truth, that means the stock will go down for Joe Biden because you got to admit that the economy is really doing bad. Now, these people are wealthy, so they don't really feel it because they're above living paycheck to paycheck. But the economy is bad. The foreign affairs is horrible. He's talking about he created jobs, and that's not true. A lot of these are government jobs where taxpayers are paying the money, so you're giving out money like it's nothing to these other countries. You're allowing these immigrants to come here. So there's a lot of issues that the average Americans are saying, hey, and we're talking about your base. They're saying, why are you doing this? Why aren't you putting America first? When they said make America great again, that's part of the reason. How about you put us first? It's like having a child and you put somebody else first over your child. How the child is going to feel about that? Tell me what you think about this video. Do you think the Democrats are panicking because Joe Biden is so far down in the polls that they may lose their power? Leave a comment below and I'll see you in our next video.